and getting a vision of beauty alongside everything else that exists. As far as I can remember, I've always made things, even as a child. But a very concrete moment was that when I came to school, or when I started with school, I was relatively aggressive, I was told, as a child, and one other mother in the class told my mother, send her to do some pottery and to do some acting. So I started pottery and acting that time with about 6 or 7 and never stopped. I stopped acting, but I never stopped making things with clay until today. And so it was sort of a very early start making things with clay. I'm making sort of figurative sculpture, but it's not so much about sort of showing people. It's more about showing the emotion that some people transport, or like I have a feeling that I see represented in another person, and so I choose my motif, or like the people I portrait, very carefully in what they transport for me, what sort of aura or character they transport, and what it actually tells me. And by translating that into clay, making sculptures of it, I sort of try to get the essence of that feeling that I actually find into these, in these people. I very much like to work with people directly. I mean, not everything I'm making means that I have a model in front of me. So a lot of things I'm working from my head, or I work from photographs. But what I like most is working with people directly in the studio, and this very intense relationship that exists while we're working together is something that I enjoy very much. And most of the time the person I'm working with as well. So this very intense interaction for a limited time is something that I enjoy very much. And then I also appreciate very much the reaction of other people, sort of seeing similar things in what I made to what I felt while I made it. So I really like to watch people looking at my things, talking about them, and having sort of similar impressions, or even different ones that I didn't even think of, and what just shows me how close it is to our sort of human sensitivity. No, it's not political, but not in a direct way. Of course, I think it's contemporary in the sense that, of course, it comes along relatively classical in the way I work and the materials I use. But on the other hand, it's like everyday sort of scenery. Everybody, or many people, can associate with it, can identify with it, can see something of themselves in it, and can also see sort of something that has to do with society. Not everything is sort of just beautiful or about feelings, but feelings are not always good feelings. They are also like about vulnerability, about being afraid, being lonely, being uncertain what's coming next. I mean, there are all sorts of feelings that are part of our everyday life, especially now that you have just so many negative news every day coming onto you. I want to make something that doesn't neglect the fact that there are lots of dangers and scary things in the world, but also transport a positive feeling and getting some optimism into our lives, and getting a vision of beauty alongside everything else.